Good morning. This is Minimalist Explorer, EDC, and it's been a long time since I've done a video. We're going to go back to basics, though. Minimal EDC kit, the Altoids kit, the one everybody enjoys. It is fun to put these together. I find them very useful. I think that they're going to get you at the least 2 days, maybe, one depending on what you put in your kit, but they're really just an addition to your survival kit. But an important addition because they're lightweight and you can carry some wonderful safety items inside. So these are, I have the contents of this kit on a card, and these are the 2 Ranger bands you can use for cordage of any kind, and they are flammable, so you can also use them in the last-ditch effort if you need something to stay lit for a fire. I don't recommend breathing them, so that would be my absolute last choice. So without further, let's pop into the kit. Just a regular little aluminum box that you can use to light a fire in. This can act as a wind stop. So, and there's many uses. I wouldn't cook a food in here. Okay, we have the paracord, 550 paracord with the 7 strands inside. Honestly, I think that's kind of funny because this cord will light either way, whether you have the strands or not. So the tinder strand for me is kind of fun. It's gonna light. This whole cord will. I like to use it as a shoelace in case I break a shoelace, or if I need cordage for setting up my poncho into a shelter. I at least have something with me. There's at least a foot wrapped up in this. Again, the 7 strands, sure, I'd probably use one if I needed to sew something, but quite honestly, I'm not going to sew anything out there. I'm going to use Gorilla Tape and slap it on a hole on my jacket or shoe and call it a day. I'm not sewing anything outside. So that I'm just going to use this for straight shoelace replacement, or if I need to set up my poncho as a way to get out of the rain. So there's my 550 paracord. I don't know what I would need 550 pounds of pull force for, and with a paracord, I prefer bank line because it doesn't stretch like paracord does, but you do you. Again, it makes a great shoelace. I have a wire saw. I am not sure how these will go. It's a wire saw. I think you're not going to be taking down a log with that, but you will get enough, something like, about the size of a broomstick handle. You could probably saw with that. Maybe a little bit bigger. And it's better than nothing. So there's a wire saw for a little bit of bigger wood when you're out there for your fire. I have some windproof matches in here and a striker. These are not rainproof, but I have a ferro rod for that. So this is what I had. This is what I have. There should be multiple sources to create a fire. I have a small flashlight. It will do. So flashlight, important. You can hang that from your shelter if you need to use the outdoors for your bathroom. You can hang this on your shelter so that you can find your way back to because it does get really, really dark out there in the night. So especially in the woods, you don't have any white light from the city or anything. So you need to find your shelter even if you walk like 10 feet from it. So you can hang that on your shelter so you can find your way back. I do put into my kits a nice little tactical, it's got a little carabiner holder on it, knife. It's a nice sharp, that is a very, very sharp blade. It does have a 90-degree spine, so you could use it with your ferro rod. I have the whistle. When you're out there, if you've gotten lost and you've succumbed to the fact that you are going to stay put, which you should, and not play Marco Polo with the rescue. And I hope you've let at least 2 adults know where you've gone. And when I say adults, I don't mean your 90-year-old grandpa. Know where you went, the path you've taken, and when you're going to be coming back, so that it's easier for rescue to find you. And then when you do decide, and I hope it's sooner than later, give yourself time before darkness hits that you are going to stay put. Use your whistle so that they can find you easily, especially if you get hurt. Your voice is not going to carry, the whistle will. So save your voice, use your whistle. I also have a couple of little twist ties. You know, I see people put these in the kit. Who knows? They might come in handy. They may never come in handy. But if your backpack breaks the handle, maybe you can zip it back shut, or, you know, use it for tie off for your shelter. Who knows? Make a loop, anything, fix a loop. I have a button compass in here. It's liquid filled, and it actually seems pretty accurate, so I'm pretty impressed with these little tiny button compasses. I also have a ferro rod and striker. I did make a mistake and not get the ones with the holes in them, but whatever. I will put a band or a shrink tube around the back of this so that I can hold it. And these strikers that you get generally on the side where you can scrape your tinder. There's a little bit, it works great if you're a righty. These were not made for lefties, but there's a tiny little lip here for the striking on the ruler side. So for me, being a lefty, I've got to hold it from this end and strike that way. So your best bet is hopefully you have your knife on you with a 90-degree spine that you can use, or some other. Replace it. Put something else in there. It will work. I've already tested it out. They do work. Anyway, that is what is in my EDC kit. And again, it's just the basics. It will get. It's not for long term. You hopefully will get an evening out of it if you're stuck someplace. And I hope you have your essentials in your backpack, your shelter, which could be a poncho. They have a great Helinax, I think it's called. I can't pronounce it, but there are, if you look into it, there's ponchos that will double as shelters. Get one. I have one. It's in my backpack. And all kinds of other essentials. A boo-boo bag. I highly suggest a boo-boo bag because we do get boo-boos. With some gloves and a larger cutting source. I typically have a small saw in mine. And a small hatchet for cutting so that I can get larger pieces of wood. But again, if you did not bring that and you have this, it's better than nothing. So, you can get your larger pieces. And if you're going to make sure that you have a Bic lighter. Yes, this has a ferro rod in it. I have a more comprehensive kit. I do sell these. So shipping, I do not put lighters in them. You can decide where you want to keep a lighter, but in my kit, I have a Bic lighter with bank line and Gorilla Tape around it, and that's my fire starting. That's my first source of fire, is always have a lighter on you. Otherwise, you're going to resort to the ferro rod, and hopefully you've practiced enough to be able to use it. I that's my fun way of lighting fires all the time, in relaxed situations. But in a situation where it's an emergency, I'm going for my lighter first. That fire will be essential. You can get hypothermia in the summer. Weather changes very quickly. I live in the New England area. We've lost, I think, this year, and it's not even over yet, at least 12, 13 hikers have succumbed to weather conditions that have changed on them. This is what I carry hiking. This is my bag for hiking. It's very light. It's small. You can see in my hand, and I do not have large hands. I have a carabiner. I clip this onto my loop so this swings freely, so it doesn't get caught up on anything. But I clip this on my belt loop. It's very light. It's on my belt loop. It's just hanging. I don't even notice it's there. But in an emergency, I've got everything I need in it. There's my paracord. I've got a couple of paper clips for who knows what MacGyvering I need to do, but they're there. I have a small Olight flashlight. The tab is still in the back. This one does have a battery in it. So, but I'm saving my battery, so I can just take that tab out and the battery will connect. I have four of these zip ties, 4-inch zip ties, in case I need it for a shelter. That's all I have. And no, that is not all I have. I do have one packet with 2 Aleve in it. Anyway, it's dug in here. Yeah, here it is. I have these in shrink tubes so that they stay dry. So I shrink tubed and melted the ends and marked it so I know it's 2 Advil in case I need in case I get hurt and I need a pain reliever. And I have my grandfather's jackknife. Very sharp. I always keep it sharp. It's got a 90-degree spine. I've used this many times with my ferro rod. I prefer that over half of these strikers that come with them. But that's me, and it's my cutting tool. And it was my grandfather's, so there you have it. I have my tinder bag. So I keep a tinder bag. It's got all kinds of little fat wood in it that I've foraged. It has a feather stick and pieces of other feather sticks that have fallen off creating one. And it's got birch bark in it. It's got all kinds of little tinder in it so that I can get my fire started. But in that being said, make sure that you have your fire build all ready. When you know that you're staying for the night, collect your wood for your fire, get that fire going, then start with your shelter. And that means leaving yourself time. You have to get to a point where you say, okay, I need to stop. I need to stay put. I need to do things to survive. You have to come to a conclusion at some point that you're not getting out of there that night. And take a survival course. I've taken survival courses. They're fantastic. It makes me more confident when I'm out there. Take a bushcrafting course. Have fun with it. Everything is relative. I keep these hand warmers on me. I have 2. 1 is none, 2 is 1. There's a YouTube video out there by a gentleman, I can't remember his name. However, if you YouTube hand warmer fires, he will come up. And when these no longer work and they're discarded, don't throw them away. The contents inside these packets are flammable, and you can create a fire with them. I will leave it to him to explain how that works, but you can YouTube that for an added fire source. This side has my whistle. Again, use your whistle, save your voice. We've already gone over that. I have a small Phillips and flathead screwdriver for eyeglasses because I do wear them. I have a second source to cut with, a second cutting tool. This is a money clip knife. Very small, compact, but extremely sharp. Very, very sharp. Never hurts to have 2 sources for cutting, especially if you're with somebody who did not carry a pack and you need help breaking down tinder or whatever. You'll have a second. Hopefully you've taught your friends how to survive the elements and be prepared. My personal EDC kit pretty much contains some of the generic stuff I put into my other kits, but so my 2 Ranger brands, the old Altoid. This one I have my gallon water bag. I keep a coffee filter in here, and if you can see that, I have water tabs. So I generally carry a titanium cup with me. It's this one. It's in my backpack typically. Sorry. So, and this has my Esbit stove in it with lighter, wood, and Bigfoot bushcraft fire plugs. and some paper towel, a glove, because, well, the soot gets nasty, and I'm not putting that back in my backpack like that. I have a couple of expandable towels. Just add water. They become the size of a washcloth, a good size washcloth. You dry them out, reuse them. But they're good, especially if you get a boo-boo you need to clean. So, anyway, that's my little cup kit that goes into my backpack. You can also hang this outside of your backpack. Everything's so tight in it, it's not going anywhere. So you can use a carabiner and hang it on the outside if I want. I have a small boo-boo bag with safety pins, more water tabs, more than I probably will ever need, but there they are. It has a couple alcohol wipes, a couple of Band-Aids, some ointment, in case I cut myself. Nothing worse than an infection while you're out there. And listen, I see these videos where people are carrying a sailing knife or a sailing needle and thread in case they have to suture somebody up. No, I am not suturing anybody up anywhere. We're gonna throw duct tape on your cut. If it's that big of a wound, we're gonna shut it, throw the duct tape over it, and hope somebody gets there, because I'm gonna tell you right now, that is a liability waiting to happen, especially if they get a worse infection because you did something that you thought you could do and needed to do. They get an infection, and now there's an amputation. That's a no for me. We're not going to play doctor out in the wilderness. Not qualified. So don't do it. Gorilla Tape, speaking of. I have Gorilla Tape wrapped around my Bic lighter, and I have jute. This jute will help me. With tinder, you can take that off, part the fibers on it, bird nest it. Use your ferro rod if you want, or, again, first source is my lighter. I have my wind and rain matches, always a way to light a fire, no matter what. I don't care if you have a ferro rod, I don't care if you have your lighter. Things happen. If you want, throw this on your fire, and these things stay lit for quite a bit of time, actually. At one point I counted it. I don't remember offhand, but I have a couple of these plus a bag with some cut down with a striker in it. And honestly, if I'm that needing of a fire and it's soaking wet out there, I'm throwing these in with my tinder and using them to light the fire. I'll use my Bic on them and get that fire going with my fire plugs and everything else I need, because I need a fire. But again, get your tinder together, get your pencil lead size twigs and your pencil size twigs, broomstick size wood, and then the larger wood together for a proper fire build. Look into a proper fire build for upside down fires. They last a while. And get that going, then start your shelter. More Gorilla Tape, can never have enough. Bandage, sewing, whatever. I have a small ferro rod here. I typically carry a 5-inch ferro rod on me anyway, but again, I have multiples of things that are not daunting to carry, and work in a pinch. And I have extra typically because not everybody that is in your party is carrying them, and if you are with other people that don't have the necessities, at least you have something for them to work with and help you guys help yourselves. So that is essentially what are in my kit. Happy trails to you. Get outside, enjoy it, and be safe.